Eli Lake is with the Free Press. He is the host of the podcast Breaking History, and he's generally informed about everything. So, Eli, I want to do two things. I want to get to James Comey's indictment. But first, I made a comprehensive as I could find list of maybe politically violent acts since Donald Trump's election in 2016. And I want you to give me an answer, just your best guess. Political violence left, right, Islamist, insanity, or don't know to each of them. Number one, the attack on ICE this week.
Political left.
Left?
Yes.
All right. The other two attacks on ICE in August and July.
One of them, we now have information, was somebody suffering from CTE. So that might go down to mental illness. I think the other one is left. I think ICE is a left-wing target.
Okay. ABC affiliate in Sacramento, shots fired into it after Kimmel suspended.
Left.
Attacks on memorials or supporters of Charlie Kirk in the aftermath of assassination.
I wouldn't call that necessarily terrorism, but certainly kind of, it doesn't rise necessarily. Some of those are not exactly violent, but certainly left.
Fox News van attempted bombing 2 days after Charlie was killed.
Left for sure.
Assassination of Charlie on September 10th.
I want to say left. I just want to stress, and I'm not doing the thing that I'm not doing the gaslighting thing here, Hugh, but we should we're going to have a trial, and we may find out that there was also mental illness. That's all I want to stipulate.
Yeah, Justice Barrett said that, by the way. Said he's obviously sick, but it looks like violence. The murder of the Catholic kids in Minneapolis in August.
Left, possibly mental illness.
The murder of Melissa and Mark Hortman in June in Minnesota.
That looks like right-wing political violence.
That's right, but there's also a mental illness aspect.
There's also mental illness.
Because
agreed, but yes, okay, yeah.
Murder of 2 Israeli employees at the Jewish Museum in May.
I would call that Islamist and left.
I agree.
Murder
of Brian Thompson, the healthcare executive.
That's left populist violence. Yes.
All right. The attacks on Tesla after Doge got to work, the firebombings especially.
Left-wing violence.
2 attempts at Trump, murder of Corey Compatore during the campaign.
Left with the possibility of mental illness.
All right. The murder of Brian Thompson, we've already covered. In November 2023, Paul Kessler was murdered in L.A. during a pro-Israel demonstration.
That's Islamist left, yes.
Yeah. Anti-Semitic violence generally on campuses as well as in L.A.
I mean, that is the classic. We did an episode called Red Green Alliance. That's the left finding common cause with Islamists.
The March 23 murder of kids at the Nashville Christian School.
Left, possibly mental illness.
Attempt on Justice Kavanaugh.
Again, I'm going to say, I keep saying left, possible mental illness. Remember, he turned himself in, clearly a pretty disturbed guy, but, look at his target.
The kidnap plot of Governor Whitmer.
FBI setup. I understand that there were people who agreed to this plot, but so many people involved in incepting the plot were either federal assets or federal agents that I don't really put that into any particular category, even though they were clearly had infiltrated a right-wing group that was willing to do political violence.
The mass shooting at the June 14th congressional baseball game.
Oh, well, that is obviously left-wing political violence, and we know that because we have, now that we go back, the benefit of a trial, we have lots of evidence about he was a Bernie Sanders volunteer. We should make clear, Bernie Sanders, gave an eloquent statement after Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's left-wing violence for sure.
And then we've had Antifa from the day that Donald Trump was inaugurated in 2017 to this week. What do you make of the Antifa violence?
I believe that Antifa should change their name to FA because I think that they are a fascist organization. and they are engaging in classic brown shirt tactics that we associated with fascists, but also communists in the Weimar Republic. But listen, they are, in my view, should be in the book of infamy for swarming on and seriously injuring Andy Ngo, who is an independent journalist who was trying to do real journalism on him, I'm sorry, Antifa. I have like zero tolerance for Antifa. I think that they're a very bad organization, and they give, in my view, the noble cause of anti-fascism a bad name. It is it is false advertising in the case of this organization.
So is it true that it has been the overwhelming case since Donald Trump was elected that political violence or violence that is political plus mental illness has been overwhelmingly on the left?
Yes, I think you should include, there was an individual in Charlottesville, and that was, I think, on the right.
Oh, Heather, yes.
Yes, Heather Heyer. I do think it's important to, um, I I mean, there was a riot at the Capitol on January 6th. It was not an insurrection. Not everybody engaged in violent behavior, but there were some who certainly tried to beat up police officers. That's unacceptable. So I would call that sort of a kind of political violence. That was clearly from Trump supporters. There have been, we should also mention that there were the mail bombs that were sent or the threats that were sent to newspapers. There was somebody who shot up a newspaper in Maryland.
Annapolis, yes.
Annapolis. So yes, but that said, you're right. A lot of it is coming from the left. More of it, I think, probably is coming from the left in the Trump era at this point. And also, I mean, I would include some of the riots that happened, in the summer of George Floyd. So that was clearly more on the left. I think the key, that is a point that I made in my latest podcast, we're also seeing disorganized violence. It's different than groups like the Weather Underground saying our next targets are going to be, the symbols of capitalism in the Pentagon in order to protest our presence in Vietnam. We have nothing like that. They're just sort of individuals who I think are glomming onto a particular cause, like Luigi Mangione. But with the exception of Antifa, it's not organized in the way that it was in the 1970s and late 60s.
All right, now we got a minute. Tell me what you think about the Comey indictment.
I think, like a lot of Americans, I think that Comey deserves a taste of his own medicine. There is a karma kind of justice to it. I really believe that he was the worst FBI director in our history, and he abused his power. On the other hand, I am with Andy McCarthy and others where I don't see that this indictment is going to be won in court, and I don't think he will be convicted. And I think that in many ways, indicting him has made him a martyr. And in that sense, I think it's kind of a political gift, even though the process is the penalty when we're talking about lawfare, and Trump and his allies have suffered that as well.
Eli Lake, always good to talk to you. Listen to the Breaking History podcast that we're talking about the Red-Green Alliance. It's 2 weeks ago. And read Eli wherever he shows up, often at the Free Press, to which you should be a subscriber. Coming right back with